Hello friends, this video on pair of linear equations in two variables part 1 is brought to you by examfear.com. No more fear from exam. What we will study? We will study a pair of linear equations in two variables. We will study graphical method to solve pair of linear equations. We'll also study algebraic method to solve pair of linear equations. In algebraic method, we'll study substitution method, elimination method and cross multiplication method. We also study types of pair of linear equations, that is consistent, dependent and inconsistent. Let's start. Why do we need pair of linear equations in two variables? First, let me focus the term here, pair. We have two equations, then we have linear, then we have equation, and then we have two variable. All these terms need to be focused on. Now let me give you a scenario. In a class, we are told that if you add girl plus boy, this is 5. That means if you add the number of girls and number of boys in the class, you get 5. Subtract the number of boys from the number of girls, you get 1. Let's suppose in your class you are told that the number of boys plus number of girls is 5 and the number of girls is more than number of boy by 1. We are told. Now we have to find how many boys, how many girls. So for that, what we'll do, we'll form pair of linear equation. So what we'll say? We'll say boy plus girl is equal to 5 and second is girl minus boy is equal to 1. So if you see, these are nothing but two linear equations. They are two linear equations because the power is 1. You see, the boy power is only 1. So boy and girl you can represent by x and y also. You can say like this, x plus y is equal to 5, girl is y, so we'll say y minus x is equal to 1. Same thing I can write in this way. Here if you see, the powers are 1, x to the power 1, y to the power 1, the maximum power is 1, so it's called linear equations. Correct? There are two variables, x and y, so it's called linear equation in two variable. And there are two equations like this, so we call pair of linear equation. Correct? We'll go through this in the next slides. Just I'm trying to give you a real life scenario. Why do we need linear equation, pair of linear equation? For example, we have boys and girls sum we know, and we know that number of girl is 1 more than number of boys. We have to find the number of boys and girls. Then we can use pair of linear equation to find it. And why it is called pair of linear equation in two variable? Because there are two equations, so it is pair. Both the equations are linear, so they are called linear equations. And there are two variables in each of these equations, so they are called pair of linear equation in two variable. Let's define this once again. Equation that can be put in this form, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where a, b, c are real number, where obviously a and b can't be 0 together, so we can say that root of a square plus b square is equal to 0. When you say root of a square plus b square is equal to 0 or a square plus b square is equal to 0, both are same. That means either one of these has to be non-zero. Correct? If both are 0, this will become 0. So when I say a square plus b square is not equal to 0, that means both a and b cannot be 0 together. This is called linear equation in two variable x and y. Why? Because the power maximum is 1. If you see, x to the power 1, y to the power 1, the maximum power is 1, so they are called linear, and they are two variables, so they are called linear equation in two variables. Now if you have two equations like this, that will call pair of linear equation of two variables. Now in this slide we are talking only about linear equation of two variables. We are not talking about pair now. Try to understand. Linear equation of two variables is of form this one, ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, where both of a and b can't be 0 together, because if both are 0 together, c is equal to 0, that will not make any sense. Correct? That is linear equation because the maximum power is 1, linear equation. There are two variables, so they are called linear equation of two variables. For example, you can say 3x plus 4y is equal to 2. This is also linear equation of two variables. But if I say 3x square plus 4y square is equal to 5, this is not linear equation. Why? Because the power of x is 2, the power of y is 2. So it is not linear equation. This is quadratic equation of two variables. Correct? If I say 3x plus 4y plus 5z is equal to 6. This is linear equation because the maximum power is 1. But it is not linear equation of two variables. It is linear equation of three variables, x, y and z. Correct? That means if you want to create a linear equation of two variables, there are two things that is mandatory. First is the equation has to be linear. That is the maximum power should be 1 and it should have only two variables. Then only it is linear equation of two variables. Else, for example, if you see this is linear equation of three variable and this is quadratic equation of two variable. Correct? Please note linear is a term here and two is a term here which are critical. Linear equation two variable. Geometrically what happens if you want to find solution of such variables, for example ax plus by plus c is equal to 0, what we have to do? We have to just draw a line for this equation. So the line which is for this equation, every point in the line represents the equation. For example, let's suppose we have x plus y is equal to 1. This is the equation we have. Now let's suppose this is my number line, this is my xy axis, correct? This is x, this is y. X plus y is always 1. So if I say x is equal to 0, y is equal to 1. If I say y is equal to 0, x is equal to 1. So I'll get line like this. This will be my line. Correct? This is x is 0, 1 and this is 1, 0. And this you can say 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Correct? So every point in this line represents this equation. So graphically, if we are given a linear equation in two variable or anything, linear equation in three variable, doesn't matter. Any equation you draw the graph, every point of the graph represents the equation. So in this case, we had x plus y is equal to 1 and we have represented the line. We have drawn the graph for this x plus y is equal to 1 and every point in this line represents this equation. Correct? So graphically each solution that is x, y, any point in this line is any point in this line represents the equation. Correct? Now after knowing the linear equation of two variable, this we know it is any equation that is linear and which has two variable. Now let me introduce pair of linear equation of two variable. So here what we'll do, we'll have two equations like this. So this is a1x plus b1y plus c1, a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. So these are the two linear equations of two variable. So we call this pair of linear equations of two variable. Please make a note. This is called pair of linear equations of two variable because we have two linear equations of two variables. So it is called pair of linear equations of two variable. Correct? This is the general form of pair of linear equation of two variable. a1x plus b1y plus c1 is equal to 0, a2x plus b2y plus c2 is equal to 0. Please make yourself comfortable with this single form because we'll be using this very often. Where a1, a2, b1, b2, c1, c2 all are real numbers and both a and b can't be 0 together. That means a1 square plus b1 square is not equal to 0 and a2 square plus b2 square also is not equal to 0. Why? Because at a given point of time, both should not be equal to 0. Because if both are 0, for example, this is 0, this becomes c1 is equal to 0. That is not a valid equation. It doesn't make sense. So, the condition is a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2 are all real numbers and at a given point of time, a1 square plus b1 square is not equal to 0. Also, a2 square plus b2 square is not equal to 0. This is the general form of equation in two variables. Correct? Also, if you want, one thing you should know that if we have a linear equation in two variables, if you want to find solution for linear equation in two variable, the number of equations required is 2. Similarly, for linear equation in three variables, the number of equations required is 3. It's a general truth, that is, let's suppose we have x plus y is equal to 5. If you want to know the value of x plus y, the unique value of x plus y which satisfies this, you can't find. For this, you need one more equation, any equation, for example, x minus y is equal to 2. So if we have two equations and if these are equation of two variables, then using two equations I can find unique value of x and y. I'll explain you all this thing in the next slides, but just try to understand. For example, if you have x plus y plus z is equal to 0 of this form where you have three variables, right? Then you need three equations to solve. If you want to find the exact value of x and y and z which satisfies this, then you need three equations. For example, let's suppose 3x plus 2y plus 5z is equal to 1, or 3x plus y plus 2 is equal to 7. So if you see here, the point I am trying to say is, if there is a linear equation of n variables, for example a1, b1, c1, c2 like that, sorry, x, y, z like that. So here we have two variables x and y. So if we have n variables, then you need n equations to solve the equations. So in our syllabus, we should not worry about 3, 4, 5, 6 and n. This is not in our syllabus. You can ignore this part. We are concerned only about linear equation in two variables. That's why, as per rule, if you want to solve linear equation of two variables, you need two equations to solve it. As I explained just now, that means we need a pair of linear equation in two variables. So everywhere in this chapter, you will be talking about pair of linear equations in two variables. Because since it is two variable equation, so we need at least two equations like this to solve the equation. Correct? So we are talking about always pair of linear equation of two variables. Correct? Now, approach to solve a pair of linear equation. For example, I have 3x plus 2y is equal to 5 is one linear equation, right? And 2x plus 3y is equal to 2 is one equation. How to solve it? Or the example we had, boy plus girl is equal to 5 and girl minus boy is equal to 1, right? This equation we had. This is also linear equation of two variables. How to solve it? So in the introduction, I told you we can solve the equations using linear equation of two variables, pair of linear equation of two variables, but I have not exactly solved it. I just showed you the two equations. Now I'll explain you the approach to solve pair of linear equation. There are two approaches. The first approach is the graphical method and the second approach is the algebraic method. I'll explain both of these. First, let me take graphical method. Thank you. Visit examfear.com to watch free educational videos, try free online tests, get the best quality study materials, study from the best tutors and mentors, and much more. Thanks once again.